Hello, my name is Elizabeth Hartstar. I want to first say how grateful I am to Unify for creating these amazing global meditations and presentations by some of the top visionaries of our time during this very challenging time upon the planet. I'm an astrologer, and for many years, astrologers have been looking towards 2020 as a pivotal time of shift and change with the planetary energies that are being played out at this time, which has to do with the breaking down of old forms and structures and old paradigms that have not served life on the planet, for our planet, our Earth Mother, and for humanity. And so this seems to be the time, the wake-up call, the 2020 vision. How do we want to vision the new Earth? So I'm grateful, and I was asked by Unify to speak about my experience being contacted by who I like to refer to as our star ancestors. It all started really in 1971, when I was part of a spiritual community, and being an astrologer, I would bring through the astrology that was going on at the time, and had incredible experiences with the Tibetan Dwal Kul's teachings from esoteric astrology about the star Sirius, which is like the sun behind our sun. It's the brightest star in the sky, and has always been an important guide, as Orion, everybody is aware of, as well as the Pleiadians and the Arcturians. And the Arcturians are the ones that I feel the contact happened with in 1995, when I was living in Kailua, Oahu, Hawaii. And it was late at night, and my son Kai, who was then 14 years old, woke up in the middle of the night, hot, wanted something. I said, go outside, get some fresh air, have a drink of water. And he came running in, Mom, you've got to come and see this. So I came outside, and sure enough, there was this enormous golden light that moved in many strange ways. And it was actually the feeling that I had. I went back into the house, got out my laptop, started to, I guess, write something, but it was deleted. So I have no idea what came through, but it felt as a download was happening within me. A few weeks later, I was driving, and my car the wheel was taken from me and driven to this beautiful beach of Lanikai, Oahu, to walk out on the beach. It was just starting to get dark, and there again, the same golden, huge light moving in strange patterns and activating what it felt like, downloading and activating something within every cell of my body. A few weeks later, I went to see my dear friend, healer, white light technician, George Tracy, who is now working in the spirit world as the white light technician he is and always will be. Grateful to George. And I mentioned to him the experiences I had with this golden light and this download. And he very matter-of-factly said, oh, those are the Arcturians, they're here all the time. So being an astrologer, I looked up the alignment for Arcturus, and sure enough, my Libra sun is aligned to the star Arcturus. So I was very aware of their presence and that something had taken place within me. But it wasn't until 2005, I was back in Sedona, Arizona, which has been my home base since 1990, opening a crystal shop called Stone Age Sedona with a friend from Glastonbury who has Stone Age Glastonbury. And we opened the crystal shop on a special planetary alignment called a grand quintile, which is the planets were all lined up, creating a 5-pointed star with sextiles around it, which move the energy. So it's a 5-pointed star with a circle around it. And it was happening over Tibet at 6 a.m. Sedona time on October 1st, 2004. So we had a beautiful puja ceremony to open the shop on this alignment. And it was on January 1st that I opened the shop. We had a fairy room where we had beautiful bronze fairies and all different kinds of fairies, fairy lights. And we had a huge, you may have seen these gigantic pendulums that hang from the ceiling and have a metal plate with white sand in it and a huge pendulum. And they'd make lots of incredible sacred geometry patterns throughout the day. When I came in and turned on the fairy lights and looked at this pendulum, I was amazed. It was almost like a crop circle, but it was in sand, that there was a 5-pointed star with a circle around it, and it wasn't lots of lines, the way that the pendulum would usually look. And I felt this was a sign for the New Year's. And I phoned the owner in Glastonbury and told him about this. And he said, oh, I'm not surprised because he's used to magical things happening. I wish I had had a camera or an iPhone at that time, but I didn't. So I don't have any proof of that. But it was a few days later that a couple with their 2 young girls, 9 and about 6, and their teenage son came into the shop and before I was closing, and they said they had just driven down from Alberta, Canada, and they were on their way to the Tucson Gem Show, and the little girls wanted fairies from the fairy room, and so Dawn, their mother, came up to me and held out her hand, and she said, I have these Alberta opals. Would you, we're taking them to the Gem Show to sell. We have a crystal shop in Alberta, Canada, in Calgary. I believe it was Calgary. And I said, yeah, I looked at these, amazing. I still have them. Alberta opals were the most incredible things I saw, and the little girls got their fairies. And I felt so connected to this family. I said, well, where are you going to stay? It's getting dark. And they said, we don't know. I said, well, I had an extra room and futons. And I said, would you like to stay with me? So we went back to my house, made a meal. I got their beds all ready. And the woman, Dawn, said, oh, I have a little ancient Himalayan crystal skull named Star. You'll love its energy. Well, I wasn't really excited about crystal skulls. I know a lot of people kind of wonder what is going on with the crystal skulls. And I said, well, okay. So in the middle of the night, I woke up with this light in my room, and I held the little skull, and I had an out-of-body experience, like I was traveling through the cosmos, like I was, my umbilical cord, or maybe we say our silver cord that comes out of the crown of our head, opened up, and I was able, it felt like a cosmic conscious experience. They stayed with me 4 days, and afterwards I asked, where did this incredible crystal skull come from? I didn't want them to leave with it. And she told me that a man had psychic memories or was guided to go to caves in the Tibetan Himalayas, and he discovered 8 small of the Himalayan crystal skulls, which Star was one of, about the size of an orange, and 16 large crystal skulls, so 24 crystal skulls altogether, and that he had asked a woman in New Jersey, Alo-Ah, if she would find the right caretakers for the small 8. And I said, well, are there any more of these? Because I feel very connected to this pure star. And she said, I believe there are still a few left. So sure enough, I got in touch and she sent me the picture of the 3 that were still there. And when I saw this one, and the name came to me before the actual crystal skull arrived, as Heart Star. And my life changed a lot since this is Heart Star, the ancient Himalayan crystal skulls, one of the group of 8. And he seems to be the spokesperson for the group of 8, Heart Star. So my life really opened up and changed, and I felt more connected to my star family. It was soon after Heart Star came to me. I was still running the shop, Stone Age Sedona, that a woman who I had done a reading for, and I saw all these star alignments to Arcturus, had told me about David K. Miller, that was the reason she came to Sedona, to have a session with David, who channeled the Arcturians and has written 3 books called Connecting with the Arcturians. She said a book had fallen off the bookshelf, and she lived, I believe, in Texas, and that's why she came. So I got introduced to David K. Miller and his group of 40. It's all spelled out, not the number 40, but F-O-R-T-Y, groupof40.com, and learned a lot and experienced a lot from the teachings that the Arcturians would bring through David about biorelativity. They have set up healing chambers on the 5th dimension for us to go through healing as well as ascension, and bringing us tools for protection. For the Arcturians are dedicated and devoted to planetary healing. For they, as a race, were in a low, dense 3D dual polarity existence, millenniums, I believe, ago, and as a group consciousness have evolved and have chosen to assist, as many other galactics have. Especially well known are the Syrians and the Pleiadians and the Arcturians. And so it was about 5 years after, well, actually it was 2015, that David called a group of 10 to come and do monthly channelings that the Arcturians wanted to share, where I actually experienced being able to access the 5th dimension and my 5th dimensional self. A couple of years after that, Alo-Ah, who is one of the main Arcturian healers and teachers, with her partner Giuliano, who channeled through David, came through and asked that I open to channel her energy, for the Arcturians want to teach more and assist at this time. Of course, I didn't ever expect to be a channel, but I agreed and have been enjoying more the practicing. It was a few months after I first did the practicing, as she asked, that she would come through, and it was more of a personal teaching for me, that I felt a different energy come through. And I was told, communicated to, and saw this vision of who was said she was my Arcturian higher self. I believe that we are multidimensional and we do live in other places, and we have existed through forever and always will, for we are part of the all. And this is my Arcturian self, and it felt very familiar to me. So this is my kind of coming out. I haven't actually begun to channel, but I am open to it. I believe 2020, we're all being asked to wake up, to do what we can to assist in this evolution, bringing in a new age of Aquarius and a new earth and a new frequency. And I'm very excited for contact and disclosure. And I have to say that I believe that my early meditation practice, when I was 15, I was initiated into transcendental meditation. I became a transcendental meditation teacher at 19, and I've been practicing that simple technique for over 50 years. And I believe that some form of spiritual practice and meditation has been the foundation and is a foundation to connect with our higher self and our multidimensional self and to get clear guidance. So I'm excited about our unified resonant field where we're all one, in bringing in a new age and a new consciousness with the help of our star ancestors for our Earth Mother. So I want to thank Unify, and this is a time of great change. And I wanted to share my new logo. This is Heart Star logo. This is my information. I would love to hear from star seed light workers, earth keepers, and thank you, Unify, again. May we change the world and bring in a new vibration of peace and love and health and happiness. Aho.